Great. So again, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Natasha French. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions and International Student Advisor at the University of Western States. I'm sure by now you've all heard that our fall term is going to be entirely online. We've organized this event to answer some of the questions you might have about the fall term, online classes, and moving to Portland. Our event today will include a presentation by the Dean of the Chiropractic College, our Office of Student Services, a current student, and a welcome from our faculty. If you would like to ask a question, just simply click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and then toggle to choose whether you would like to post the question with your name or anonymously, and then we'll answer as many questions as time allows, and for any of the other questions, we'll respond to everyone via email if you've RSVP'd. I'm excited to introduce our first speaker, your Dean of the Doctor of Chiropractic program, Dr. Kathleen Galligan. Please welcome her.
Hello and welcome to everybody. I know that you are all in various stages of your interest in University of Western State. Some of you have been approved and are coming, and some of you are just exploring University of Western States, but we're really glad to have you here, and hopefully we can answer questions that help you feel more comfortable and or in your decision making. This is a challenging time, and we have a reputation here at the University of Western States of a really highly qualified or high quality educational program, and that comes from a highly qualified faculty who has worked very hard to change their delivery of courses in ways that they didn't necessarily expect would happen, and they're supported by a very highly qualified staff of instructional designers and people who have made this possible. That staff has provided resources to the faculty and also to students. I think you'll hear later from a student. We've worked very, very hard to try to make this be as successful as possible. As you know from an earlier video and from Natasha's explanation, we will be entirely remote for Q1 in the fall. And this is a balance of student safety and making sure that we can manage to get students through the program. And I'm hoping that as I answer questions that you have, it will help you understand a little bit more how this works. And just want you to know that we are really looking forward to seeing all of you here at Western States.
Great, thank you so much, Dr. Galligan. One of the first questions that we have that a number of students have asked is, are iPads still required for the fall term?
Well, we do require iPads ultimately, and we think that it's likely best for you to get an iPad now and get used to using it with our testing system and with our LMS, so that by the time you're on campus, you will be adept at using it, and that won't be anything that you have to worry about. So that's the best thing to do, we think.
I've heard that from a number of students as well. What format do you use for your online courses and testing?
Well, our online courses, the lecture courses, generally have both synchronous and asynchronous portions to the class. The asynchronous portions supply some flexibility in your schedule, and the synchronous allow you to connect with your faculty and with your peers. And our lab courses that we're teaching, such as anatomy lab, there's a lecture, and then there's also lab, it will be a series of videos and content from the instructors. The exact delivery of the course varies depending on the content and the instructor. Assessments take a variety of forms, all the way from your basic multiple choice, short answer types questions, or quizzes, to sometimes it's a group activity, sometimes there might be a little bit of writing to do. The faculty have been really creative to come up with ways to assess your knowledge. These course outcomes haven't changed, and so we're focused on the outcomes, and we want to keep you engaged in the course, and so that's one way that they're doing that, by doing a variety of assessments.
Excellent. And are there any kind of in-person activities that people who are living in the Portland area can participate in, and or can they visit campus?
Well, students, as long as the campus is open, and it's currently open, students can visit campus. The library is open. Use is restricted because, of course, we're working very hard to manage the number of people in the building and working on social distancing. In some of the facilities that we have here are their use is dictated by the phase of the county that we're in. And so that's a little bit out of our control, and as it opens up, those things will change. But students are welcome on campus. We are, again, though, restricting the amount of time people spend, and because we don't want a lot of people in the building at once. There are various people have formed Zoom study groups and chat rooms and things like that so that they can stay connected with their peers. And I know that student services will probably have more information about how they're going to try to maybe do some remote club work and things like that.
Great. So one more question. Do we know when we'll be notified if the winter term will be online as well?
Sure. We're already talking about that. And we intend to make the decision as soon as possible for both our faculty and for students. In particular, those of you that if you haven't moved here yet, you need to know when and if you have to move here. It certainly would be no later than early November, I think, to be reasonable for people to make decisions. And it could actually be quite a bit earlier than that.
Okay. And we had another question about the clinic. Someone was asking if they and their family can visit the clinic right now.
Yes, the clinic is open, and students, faculty, staff, student family, they are welcome in the clinic.
Great. And one last question. They're wondering how the online testing is moderated. Will there be like someone proctoring it? Do they need to go to a facility to have it proctored?
At this point, we have not been proctoring it. We have not been requiring students to go to a facility. A lot of the instructors have altered their exams a bit so that they might function in more of an open book format, but you have to know the material in order to complete the exam, because we find that proctoring at this volume is quite difficult, and we don't want to make it hard on the student, requiring them to go somewhere else to take an exam.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think that's probably all that we have time for right now. But again, for anyone whose question we didn't answer live, we will respond via email, sending the response to everyone who RSVP'd. So don't worry, we will address it. Thank you so much, Dr. Galligan.
Looking forward to seeing everybody. Bye.
Bye. Next, I'm pleased to introduce to you your student services team, Jenna Girasitano and James Albrecht.
Everyone, thanks, Natasha. My name is Jenna Girasitano, and I'm the Director of Student Services for on-campus students here at UWS, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I'm here today with my colleague, James Albrecht, who is your Student Services Coordinator, and he's going to be a great support to you all as you make the transition to being a full-time graduate student. Our office has a variety of services and resources for students, such as free tutoring, academic coaching, student government and clubs, counseling, accessibility services, and a whole lot more. And while we're all operating remotely currently, all of these services will still be available to you virtually in the fall and beyond, and almost all of them are free. I'm going to turn it over now to James Albrecht, who's going to share a little bit about each of these services more in detail.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. Again, my name is James Albrecht, and I'm going to be your primary contact here on campus for most things related to student services. So if you have any questions about any of the services we offer or anything else related to the campus, don't hesitate to reach out. So as Jenna mentioned, we have a few different services that we offer here in our office, and I'm going to start with tutoring. So one of the services that we offer to all students registered in the Doctor of Chiropractic program is free academic tutoring. So that is covering the different subject matters in the program. And those are small group tutoring sessions of up to 4 people. We have an online tutoring system that you will log into. You will search by the subject that you are seeking tutoring for, and then you'll find the tutor schedule, and you can go ahead and schedule that session yourself. We also do offer writing tutoring. We have a fantastic writing tutor named Story Long, and you can reach out directly to her at slong@uws.edu to schedule those sessions. And you can find her contact information again under the tutoring section of our website. Moving on to academic coaching. Academic coaching is available through the Office of Student Services for all current UWS students. Academic coaching allows students time and space to work through any academic or personal challenges they are experiencing while identifying possible solutions. Common discussion topics are study skills, tutoring time, time management, test preparation, test taking, procrastination, and stress reduction. Coaching appointments are individualized, so discussions focus on your unique experiences, strengths, challenges, and goals. Another area that we manage here in student services is the associated student body and our student clubs and organizations. The purpose of the associated student body is to provide a formal organization through which the professional, academic, and personal needs and interests of the students can be cooperatively represented and met. The ASB is composed of representatives from each class and elected officers and is funded through the student activity fee established by the university administration. ASB funds student groups, the student newspaper, the Axis, and other on-campus events when we are able to resume such activities. As far as our student clubs and organizations go, we have a number of those. We have clubs and organizations that are specific to the chiropractic profession and other healthcare topics, but we also have personal interest groups such as the Allies Club, Christian Club, Soccer Club, and the Yoga Club, to name a few. So talking about accessibility services, students who experience challenges to learning due to a documented disability are eligible to receive services designed to reduce barriers and address deficits. Extended testing time, separate testing, paper exams, recorded lectures are all examples of different types of accommodations that we can offer. And if a student feels that they may apply for any of these services, they are encouraged to reach out to student services to schedule an intake appointment where we'll go over the specific challenges that you may be experiencing in the learning and testing environment. And then finally, we offer counseling services through our office. And the counseling services, we are in the process of evaluating right now to make it more easily accessible and equitable to all students. So more information will be coming on those soon.
Great. Thank you both so much. So a few questions for both of you, but the first one is, what will orientation look like and when will it take place?
That's a great question, Natasha. And in the past, we've had a variety of different orientation activities and resources to get students started and make sure you all feel prepared to start your classes here at UWS. Typically, we have an in-person welcome day the Friday before classes, but since we are all remote, that's not really possible, but we are trying to think through some creative solutions, and we already have a bunch of virtual events planned in the week leading up to the first day of classes that will be available for you to attend and get you prepared to start your studies here. You'll also receive some emails over the course of the next couple of months, so make sure you're checking your email weekly or daily if you can, and be looking for those. You'll receive some more orientation related resources through email, so stay tuned for those.
And kind of related, a student was asking when they would get access to their student email and access to their online classes for the first time.
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically you'll get your UWS email address, like your account login, which will be your login for to log into your classes, to log in to register for classes, to pay your bills. All of that will be the same. And you'll get that about a month before the start of classes. So be on the lookout for that. Generally, if you are admitted or make your decision to come to UWS within the month before classes, you'll receive them shortly after you pay your deposit.
Great.
Was there a second part to that question?
Let's see, when they would get access to the online courses.
Yes, you'll receive access to your online classes usually the Friday before the start of term.
Perfect. And one more question. So someone was asking if work study is a possibility on our campus.
Yeah, so we have a variety of different work study positions, and they vary from office to office, but we do have a page on our website that will list out a lot of the campus jobs, and you can take a look at that at any time. Our office specifically hires tutors, so once you get started with your classes, and if you excel in them, you can apply to tutor those classes, and we pay students to be tutors, which is awesome. So if you do have any questions about campus jobs or work study, there are remote opportunities for work. So just reach out to us and let us know what you're looking for.
Great. Someone else had asked what a typical schedule looks like. I know we have a sample schedule for in-person classes, but I'm wondering if you happen to know if they've already set up the fall schedule to have a general idea of when the synchronous classes would take place.
I think that's still being worked on. I think they're getting it tightened up, but just know that if you have questions or concerns over your schedule, or you kind of need some help or support organizing your study plan and getting used to being in this remote environment, James and I can both help you with our academic coaching and helping you kind of organize and time manage and make sure that you stick to a weekly schedule that works for you.
Great. Thank you both so much for participating. I really appreciate it. It's great to hear the answers to so many questions.
Yeah, for sure. And if you have any other questions, you can reach us at studentservices@uws.edu.
Great. Thanks so much, Jen and James. Bye. Next up, we have a current chiropractic and sports medicine student, Caitlin Jones, here to answer questions and tell you a little bit about her experience with the online learning at UWS. Hi, Caitlin.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good. So I have quite a few questions for you. The first one being, I'm wondering what the transition was like when we went fully online in the spring.
Yeah, so honestly, it was an easier transition than I thought it would be, just because with the way our program works, all of the online or all of the in-person lectures are recorded. So sometimes there's a lot going on and you aren't able to make it to a lecture. So a lot of students watch the Panopta recordings afterwards. There's also, even in Q1, you start off in a hybrid course where you have part of it online and part of it in person. So I feel like not only were the students already okay with online learning, but the professors are actually really good at it as well, which is really helpful because it's definitely a skill to teach online classes. And the professors have been really great. They've been set up Zoom open hours. A lot of the classes are synchronous, so you watch the videos before your time allotted with your professor and your classmates. So therefore, the class that you're all together online can be a lot more not necessarily hands-on because it's virtual, but more interactive than having the professor just speak to you for an hour. So that's actually really, really helpful.
I can definitely see that.
Yes.
So are there any challenges to having both the synchronous and asynchronous courses at the same time, or have you just felt like it's been really helpful?
Personally, I found it really helpful. I know some like one of my friends has a daughter, and when her husband was at work, she found it difficult, but the professors always worked with her. So that's, you know, is really, you know, speaks towards the professors that they are understanding that they're humans and also understand this is a weird and difficult time.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the synchronous versus asynchronous classes, I would say as long as you can remain organized and kind of set up your weekly schedule, I found it to be beneficial because there are some classes that are just great to be just lecture recordings, and then some that are really good to be the mix of the two, of having that interaction with your professor and your fellow students and lectures on your own.
Yeah, thank you. So one of our prospective students just asked, they're wondering how the labs take place right now for your cohort, not for the fall class, since they'll be online.
Yeah, so with the hands-on labs, this past spring, since we weren't on campus, I was actually really surprised with how well it went, because they just broke us up into really small groups, and we worked with the professors via Zoom. So for the adjustment classes, we actually worked a lot on pillows, since without a DC in the room, we can't physically adjust anyone. But luckily the professors were really, really good at teaching us different skills that we could still practice, such as working on our own body mechanics, as well as, you know, different speeds and different drills and different setups, even when it was just pillows. And it's not the same, but getting back in now, the labs are all hands-on. We were in very small groups. Our classrooms are 11 to 12 different students, and you're with the same 11, 12 students for all of your hands-on labs. So I would say just know in the future you will get hands-on people, and it's great.
Thanks, Caitlin. Let's see, another question they had was, do you have suggestions for how students can structure their day?
Yeah, so I'm personally a big fan of time blocking. So what I do is every Sunday, I actually write a list of everything that I need to get done that week. And then I just kind of assign different things to different days. And make sure that I accomplish each one of them. And I kind of like set it out for specific times. So, say, I know you guys are going to be taking anatomy the first quarter, of saying, okay, anatomy, it should take me 4 hours this week. Let me split it out over 3 days, and kind of do it that way. And that way you're saying like, okay, well, I'm going to learn anatomy from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. kind of thing. So the nice thing with that is you could just kind of pick and choose. So I always, for my own mental health, I chose the nicest day of the week to take off school when I didn't have any asynchronous classes. So that's a really nice thing about the online learning, is you can be a little bit more flexible as well.
That's actually perfect, because it leads into another question someone asked, which was, how do you balance school life with self-care?
Yeah, so it's hard, I'm not gonna lie, especially first quarter. You think that you're prepared and you're like, oh, it's 8 classes, it's a lot, but it won't be overwhelming. It's overwhelming. But you learn so much and it's all really interesting. So I think that's the thing, that if you don't find the topics interesting, then I think you're gonna struggle a lot, not just with the program, but with the profession. So the courses are really interesting. There are some that are tough. You will meet Dr. Williams for biochemistry. Personally, I love her. She's fantastic. But definitely, I think time blocking is a way to have that work-life balance and make plans for yourself. Like during quarantine with everything transitioning online, I made sure that I stopped schoolwork by dinner time every night. So therefore I would have the night to myself. And like I said, I would take an entire day off just to, take care of myself. And that's really needed.
Thank you. So let's see, I have just a couple more questions. The first one being, even though obviously most people aren't going to be moving to the Portland area, do you have any suggestions for anyone who's thinking about moving to Portland or is in the process of it?
Yeah, so I'm actually from the East Coast, and I personally didn't want to move to Portland because of the rain. But I have to admit, I actually love it here. So I would highly recommend moving to Portland if you're able to, just because, one, it is a great city. It's a lot better than I thought it would be. It doesn't rain that much, kind of sometimes. But in the summer, it's wonderful. There's a lot of outdoor activities. Not only that, especially with you being online, you can utilize stuff like the library, tutoring, and the student commons on campus, so that you can actually still get more of that student life, as well as go to the clinic, intermix with and learn from upper quarter students. Our campus is great because with everyone having iPads, we just airdrop everything. So I can't tell you how many notes I got from upper quarter students and how many study guides and how much help that was really helpful. And our campus is really sharing in that way. Even there have been times where I've been in the library and I've gotten random people airdropping me study guides. So I think that that's really helpful. As well as if you do plan on moving to Portland, once you decide you are going to UWS, Natasha adds you to the Facebook group, and that's where I found my roommates, which has been really helpful because that way we can all study together. We can all also vent to each other about certain things with program and everything when we're feeling a little overwhelmed. But we use Zillow, which we found a great house that we all love that was close to campus. You can also use, I know there's a website on the uws.edu that has different recommendations of apartments in the area. So I would definitely utilize that for sure.
Great, thank you so much, Caitlin. There was another question. Someone's asking about when they should get an adjustment table.
Honestly, I would wait. So you start learning adjusting in Q3, and I'm hoping by that point there'll be a lot more in-person things. But I was able to test out the table that I have. So I'm in Q8, so I'm a year and a half into the program now. So I was actually able to go to a seminar and test out different people's tables before I purchased mine. And I thought that was really helpful. I would say if you find something, you know, like Craigslist or the UWS switchboard where it's super cheap, get it. But if you don't and you want to wait just to kind of see, I would wait. But yeah, there's plenty of time.
True. Any last minute tips for our incoming class?
I would say if you do get the iPad, the app Notability is amazing. I take all of my notes on it. And in fact, I would say 98% of the students on campus use it, which is really helpful because when you do get airdropped some of those notes, sometimes they'll put it in Notability so you can actually adjust it. So a lot of people have the iPad or the iPencil. It is an iPencil, so therefore you can draw on the notes, especially since all of the notes from your professors, instead of giving you textbooks that you have to purchase, they actually give you PDFs of all of their notes, which is great because 8 quarters in, I've never bought a textbook, which is wonderful. But this way you can take notes directly on their notes, and it just makes it really, really easy. That and have fun. Q1 is overwhelming, but in a great way. Definitely get together. Even if you're staying at home during all of this, find some other Q1s to hang out with, even virtually or on the phone or something. You're definitely going to need that different student interaction, and I think that's going to be really important for you guys. And reach out to upper quarters. We'd love to hear from you.
I know, I was thinking you might give a shout out to SACA at this point.
Oh yes, so I'm part of SACA, which is the Student American Chiropractic Association. And if you're Canadian, my roommate Leah is actually the president of the Canadian version. So we've got you covered too, all in one household.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of interactive things with students, as well as we're planning on actually doing a whole lot for the Q1 since we know you guys are virtual, just to give you guys some different study tips and study guides that we've collected over the years, so that way that it can kind of help you guys out. So when Natasha adds you to the Facebook group, once you decide to come to UWS, be on the lookout for that sometime in the fall.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. That was incredibly helpful, and we will all look forward to your Facebook messages. Have a great day.
You as well. Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon. Next up, your faculty for your first quarter classes wanted to say hello to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and share their presentation.
Hey, unknown humans. How are you? I'm Gary Schultz. I am slated to be one of the instructors that you're supposed to have in the fall of 2020, the year that we really wish we could do a rewind on. I'm coming to you from the tasteless hovel of my own little office. The cool part is it looks like I'm in a somewhat professional environment with a decent decor, except for little spots where we're testing out some new paint here. But if I was to show you the rest of this room, it would probably resemble everybody else's Zoom space, just covered with everything that used to be in this room that I've piled over into one corner just so that it can look somewhat professional. So I am going to be the guy who is teaching you a course called Intro to Healthcare. Basically, when you enter into a professional program that's going to teach you to be a physician, you are entering a health services corps of workers. So as a member of that workforce, there are certain responsibilities and privileges that you'll have to take care of. But in addition, you're entering a brand new world where the rules of normal life oftentimes don't apply. So we take a little trip through time and look at the history of healthcare in general. Most of that's just medicine. And we dive into chiropractic and we talk about the crazy stories and some of the cool people that are a part of the history of this profession. We look into healthcare financing. We look into ethics and professionalism. Boy, what else do we look into? All kinds of stuff. So it's a 3-credit course. That means 3 hours of my absolutely stunningly, shockingly horrifying face each week. And if it's on Zoom, at least you can go ahead and listen to it and mute out the face and minimize the dialogue box. Yeah, I get it. I know what goes on. You can also listen to me at 1.5 times. I understand that that's quite enticing for most students. So I'm aware, if nothing else. I'm certainly not woke, but I am definitely aware. Anyway, in all seriousness, I really hope you guys are well and that you're keeping safe. And I want you to get yourself ready to enter a really rigorous program. I think you're going to enjoy it. You're certainly going to have some fun and some laughs in my classes. Life's too short to not have some fun and have some laughs. All right. Well, I wish you the very best. Obviously, if you guys want to talk to me, you can reach out through email. We could even Zoom, and you could take a look at this all over again. All right. Take care, and we'll see you probably in October. Bye.
Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Melinda Novak, and I'm a chiropractic radiologist here at the University of Western States. As chiropractors, we regularly utilize x-rays to help diagnose our patients with different types of problems. But how do you know which x-rays are normal and which x-rays are abnormal? Well, here at UWS, we have a whole series of classes where we're going to go through in detail the normal radiographic appearance of the entire skeleton. Later in the program, we'll go through the pathology of all of those regions as well. Don't worry if you don't know anything about x-rays coming into the program. I'm going to teach you what they are, how do we use them to produce images, how do we evaluate those images, and how do we communicate our findings. So starting right in the fall, I hope you'll join me. We're going to jump right into the normal radiographic anatomy series, starting with the spine and the pelvis. There's a lot of work to be done for sure, but there's no better time to start than right now. So I look forward to working together this fall, and I hope you take care of yourselves in the meantime. Thanks a lot.
Hello there. My name is Dr. Bill Borman, and I am in the faculty at the University of Western States, and I'm thrilled to be able to share this message with you to welcome you. We're looking forward to meeting you in the fall, even though it'll be a remote meeting. We're looking forward to starting to work with you in October. So a little bit about me. I have a PhD in anatomy and cell biology, and I started at University of Western States in the fall of 1994. So I guess that means I'm going into my 27th year. Over the years, I've taught most of the anatomical sciences courses. So that means a lot of gross anatomy, histology, human development, cell biology, pretty much all the anatomical sciences except the neuroanatomy is not something that I've taught. This coming fall, I will be your instructor for the first gross anatomy course. So we call that Gross Anatomy 1. That's a course where we cover the back and extremities. And then through the year, you'll also see me in Gross 2, which is our head and neck course, and in Gross 3, which is our thorax, abdomen, pelvis course. So typically our gross anatomy courses consist of some lecture time and then some lab time. The lab experience is usually an experience where you as students get to work with each other and work with a donor and actually do the dissections of the entire donor through the course series. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we're having to do things a little differently this year. So this coming year, you guys won't be able to do the dissections yourself, but what we're doing is what we call prosecting, which means me and Dr. Reyna, our other anatomist, are dissecting the cadavers in advance. And when you guys get on campus, you'll have opportunity to come in and review all the cadaveric anatomy on a handful of cadavers. It just won't involve you doing the dissections this year. So I regret that because I think that's a really cool experience. I think many of you probably are really looking forward to seeing that. And so the pandemic's affecting the world in a lot of ways, and that's just one of the things that's going to affect us. We're not going to be able to do that together. And people ask me what the thing is that I enjoy most about my job, and I would say far and away what I enjoy most is working with students in the lab. So we're just going to have to do that a little vicariously this year. In fact, what I'm doing as I'm doing the dissections is I'm recording myself as I do the dissections, and so I'm going to be able to provide those set of recordings to you. So as part of the course, you will watch those dissections. You'll get to hear the kind of things that I'm talking about as I'm doing the dissecting. So it'll give you a real good experience to be part of the dissection. It'll just be a remote experience. And then after you've seen those videos, you'll come into the lab and you'll be able to see the structures in person. So I think it's going to be a great alternative to the student dissection experience. So I hope you're having a great summer, that you are healthy and that your families are healthy. And definitely I'm looking forward to getting you here in the fall at some point, and we'll work together through the remote version of the Gross Anatomy 1 course, and then we'll do it together in person in winter. So enjoy the rest of the summer, and I'll see you in a short while. Take care.
Hello, welcome to the University of Western States Chiropractic Sciences Department. My name is Beth Dominicus, and I will be working with you, helping you learn chiropractic technique. Chiropractic technique is all of the manual hands-on skills. We're going to start in your first quarter with psychomotor adjustive skills to get you ready to deliver the adjustment, the bread and butter of being a chiropractor, and also working with you to learn some spinal anatomy. That's first quarter. As you move up through the quarters, we're going to have a lot of fun doing specific procedures. So we're going to be learning adjusting procedures, how to adjust the neck, how to adjust the pelvis, how to adjust the lumbars, how to adjust the thoracic. So that's what I do at University of Western States. I have many, many years experience teaching, and I've been a chiropractor since 1994, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person.
Hello, and welcome to the chiropractic program. My name is Courtney Williams, and I am a professor in the Basic Sciences Department and the Doctor of Chiropractic. And I will be teaching you in quarters 1, 2, and then 4 and 5. So we have a total of 44 weeks together, and I'm really looking forward to engaging with you. As this initial scatter plot slide shows, I'm very interested in solving complex problems and understanding the way that biology works. I have been a scholar of general biology ever since I was 2 years old, and I have memories of roly-polies. And ever since playing with those roly-polies, I have constantly pursued science. My goal as an educator is to cultivate a culture of learning. And this goal is distributed throughout my teaching, my research, and my service here at the University of Western States. In our first term together, we will be exploring structural biochemistry. And it's a really exciting time because we get to explore how structure dictates function. Why is it that the physical observations that you are making are related to the molecular outcomes that you cannot see? Remember, you can only observe things skin deep, and then we need to make inferences for what's going on inside of us. So we're going to start by approaching how that structure dictates function. In the next term, teaching metabolism, we will learn how to metabolize nutritive material and be able to biosynthesize cellular components. We're going to learn the role of vitamins. We're going to learn the role of minerals. And then, after a healthy break, I get to see you again in endocrine and gastrointestinal physiology. But I really love this continuation of the way that I get to share my knowledge with you, because I will be able to explain to you how our hormones regulate body system metabolism, regulate body system structural changes in order to respond to our environment. And then finally, we get to put it all together into nutrition and reflect on 5 terms of why the food guidelines tell us to eat whole foods. And we get to relate it back to each one of those subjects. In my research, I have a student perception. I study the student perception about your approach to learning. But in addition, I also study educator perceptions about their approach to professional development, hoping that I can bridge the gap in the middle. Again, the goal is to cultivate a culture of learning from the perspective of both the learner and the educator. With my interest of research, I'm very committed to the local community of research practice here at University of Western States, and I try to find all kinds of opportunities to help support students, faculty, and staff interested in research and scholarly work. And finally, I'm really interested in all forms of faculty development. Thank you so much for your time, and I really look forward to engaging with you in the fall.
Hello everybody, my name is Jose Reyna. I'm a faculty member at the University of Western States within the Department of Basic Sciences. I am responsible for teaching you the spinal anatomy content this fall during Q1. The spinal anatomy content entails everything regarding the vertebral column, everything from the different ligaments which help hold the different segments together to the different segments found within the different divisions of the vertebral column, the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral spines being the biggies, as well as the neurovascular structures that are found within the vertebral column and feed into it. Now the course is relatively short. It's only 1.5 credits long, 1 hour lab, 1 hour lecture. Now we obviously can't take the specimens home and have you take a look at them to be able to identify them. So what we have done is we've uploaded the lectures onto Web Campus, which is the platform utilized by the university to help with asynchronous learning. And those videos have been made previously by Dr. Borman, the chief anatomist of the university, as well as his predecessor, Professor Logan. Now, the content is obviously there to help you identify and be able to do well on the examination. Now, we will obviously host some lectures through Zoom and then be available during office hours as well using that platform. The recording of any content that will be utilized for our lecture will be done through Panapto. So those are some of the systems that you'll be familiar with here before too long. A little bit about me. My name is Jose Reyna, obviously, but I'm originally from the Northwest. I graduated from the School of Physical Therapy at Pacific University here in Oregon. I worked there for about 9 years, and then I left the School of Physical Therapy and Athletic Training to join the University of Western States. And then in between that, I worked at an undergraduate program here in Portland called the University of Portland, where I taught in their anatomy and physiology department within the biology division. I'm a pretty easy person to get a hold of. You're more than welcome to email me. My email is jreyna@uws.edu. That's JREYNA@uws.edu. I'll try and answer any questions that you have that are pressing within 24 hours. For those of you who require accommodations, make sure you reach out to Student Support Services so you're able to get those processed. I would like to see you succeed in this course. It should be relatively straightforward, but oftentimes, given the circumstances, for those of you who learn by doing, this might be a more challenging course because you need to be able to manipulate the objects. Unfortunately, right now, all we have is through these asynchronous tile type teaching. So again, reach out to me. I'll give you as many resources as I can. And if you care about your grade, then I care about your grade, and I will do everything I can to help you succeed in my course. Again, I look forward to meeting you here in the fall, and I hope you enjoy the remainder of your summer. And should you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Q1 and welcome to UWS. My name is Dr. Jamie Gallegos. I'm going to be your instructor for cell biology, and I'll also have you later in Q2 and Q3 for histology and human development. You also, depending on what our schedule brings throughout the year, may see me in anatomy lab. I'm kind of the third anatomist. I'm going to be teaching you guys kind of the basics of cell biology that's going to set you up for a lot of different classes you're going to have. We're going to build that basic story from kind of what's going on in the cell. You guys will kind of add that into the biochemistry you're adding for you're learning for Dr. Williams, and then you'll go on to also explore how those physiological pathways and such make tissues, and then add to your anatomy as we go throughout this year. So it's going to be really exciting. Hopefully you guys will be able to see me lots in class, and I'll get to know all of you. And so never hesitate to ask me any questions, and as always, I will be here throughout your quarter. Welcome to UWS, and I hope to welcome you into cell biology soon.
Hello, incoming first quarter students. I'm Dr. Lester Partna, and I will be teaching first quarter spinal biomechanics in the fall. It will be one of your smaller classes, only 1 credit hour. The class is called Spinal Biomechanics because it describes the largest portion of the material that we will be talking about. But we might look at it as a course that will provide a foundation of principles, terms, and ideas that you will need to know before proceeding with more in-depth courses throughout the curriculum. The course covers several fun and interesting topics, like a bit of the history of chiropractic, the evaluation of joint dysfunction, nomenclature systems for describing our findings, and arthrology, or the study of joints. We will even have a section on the basic principles of posture and posture evaluation, as well as a discussion on methods of measuring spinal range of motion. Just so that you know a little bit more about me, I graduated from the University of Western States before it became a university and was known as Western States Chiropractic College back in 1989. I practiced for 18 years here in Portland. I began teaching here part-time in 1994. Over the course of the next decade and a half, I transitioned from full-time practice, part-time teaching, to full-time teaching, part-time practice. Over the years, I have taught many different courses here at UWS. Currently, I teach 2 courses in spinal biomechanics, 1 course in chiropractic theories, and 2 spinal manipulation courses, pelvis and cervical, both lectures and labs. I look forward to working with you this fall, and I will see you then.
Hi, so thank you everyone. I hope that hearing from your new faculty was helpful. If you did have any additional questions that you weren't able to ask during this event, you're more than welcome to email your advisor or admissions@uws.edu, or the faculty member if they gave their email address during their presentation. I can answer a few questions now too, and it looks like a couple have come in. Let's see. Could you speak more about in-person activities that will be offered after week 3? I'm actually going to have the dean address that, and so I'll send that out via email. And as far as the dissection goes, it all depends on what happens with Oregon State and its reopening. So our hope is to have you do dissections in person second quarter on, but again, it'll all depend on Oregon State. So we will be in touch regarding that portion of the program. In the meantime, again, if you have any additional questions, just email admissions@uws.edu. And thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you this fall.